We are live.
He's got a mute.
Link is going to mute. Oh, I'm not muted. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. The purpose of this discussion tonight is to give Paul Kenyon an opportunity to discuss his insights into the history of the Dandy House, particularly as to what he experienced during his 50-year connection with the family and with the property. We have a set of questions that Link and I will ask Paul, and we'll give him the opportunity to reflect on those questions. So, Paul, do you have anything that you want to add before we begin?
Well, nobody's really here, but that's all right. If people do catch the first part of this when they log in, usually they just go to the live. But if anyone in the viewing audience has any questions about the Dandy family, I would be glad to address them.
All right. Well, do you want to jump into our first question?
No, let's chit chat for a bit about who's got the best weather and who doesn't.
16 degrees where I'm at.
Yeah, my weather's terrible.
What,
snow off and on today, and very windy, very cold in New Hampshire.
I want to be in the sky, Kim. Hello, Link. Holy no showy.
I thought this was a no smoking segment, Link.
It is.
It is. I've lit mine 4 times and it's gone out again.
Oh, what does that tell you?
It tells me that it is
buy another lighter.
If you look, lighter ain't got nothing to do with the cigarette burning. If it's lit and the cigarette goes out, what, the lighter came over and put it out?
No, it just means you need more lighters in your life because you have to keep relighting everything.
Oh, Link's going to start singing "You
That
Light Up My
sounds like
Life."
Reverse logic to me. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Charlie.
No, it's because it's on the side of the pack. It's a, what's it called? Hi, Amanda. I haven't seen you in so dang long. I met Amanda at the house with her group. I don't know how long ago. Lots of years. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, hi, Amanda. Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Nancy, your profile picture looks good. Your Rocky Raccoon picture looks pretty good too, but I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah. I can't say what I was thinking when I saw that picture. I just thought the worst.
I did too. I felt so terrible about it.
Do you want to disclose what happened? I guess I'm not aware of that.
Oh, I think.
Well,
did she take a tumble? Did she get into an accident?
She took a tumble. Yeah, okay. Her furnace was out, as we all knew.
Yeah,
and they finally got in to clean things up and fix the furnace. And when she went down to light it, as she said, she had a fight with the floor.
Yeah.
Guess that's a neat way of putting it, Nance.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Hope you feel better, Nancy.
Oh, she will. She's tough. Anybody who owns a Chinese sleeping bag has to be tough.
Oh, Lord.
So.
Oh, the pee-pee pad fell over. Oh, the dog, you picked up the dog's pee-pee pad and fell over. Oh, goodness. How come it's not showing me on StreamYard how many people are here? It always does.
I see 8, but I don't know if I'm seeing.
It says 8 on Facebook, but StreamYard doesn't have that little up there thing, little.
It's live.
It's supposed to be at the Hinsdale house. I don't know, Charlie. I didn't see that particular notification. I'm not getting notifications again on the Dandy House or on the Haunted the Restoration page.
Dustin Perry
shares.
Supposed to be at the Hinsdale soon.
Or Katy Perry, because that would be a show.
Out by the pond. No, they need to have a concert out there.
Big draw, yeah.
I thought about having my old band. It wouldn't be my actual old band now. It would be myself, George, hi Colette, George, and Joe Spano, Donna Carl, and maybe Cheryl Collins and one other person. That's Bill Collins' wife. No,
Oh,
kidding.
really?
And no, and 4 or 5 of us, and put on a concert at the house and raise money for a new air conditioner or something.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but the band would be out on the pier, and then people could
No,
watch.
yeah, we'd be on the pier. There ain't no way the band's going to fit on that pier.
No?
No. Even the drums by themselves wouldn't fit on that.
Oh.
And you'd be playing, and the dizzy lady would come out and stuff.
Yeah,
she might dance. She might dance to the real music.
Behind you, yes.
As Sly and the Family Stone said, dance to music.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Over the water, yeah. The lady can dance.
Oh, boy.
Suspended over the water.
Colette is visiting us from United Kingdom.
Wow.
One of my friends over the big pond.
UK, she's up late. 1 o'clock?
Good Lord.
It's 1 o'clock there. Yep.
1 a.m. on a Friday night?
Oh, sure.
Saturday morning.
Why not? Yeah. Paul's worth it.
Why not?
I just didn't know you paid extra to transmit all the way. Over. You must have saved your ham radio antenna.
I did. I've got some. I've got the.
Yes.
Which ones did I use? I used the Moonraker quad, the Moonraker, which was beams. Then I had a dipole. What else did I have? The Moonraker was fun. We used to do some moon bouncing too, not because it's called the Moonraker antenna, but we did that experiment of bouncing your signal off the moon, and it comes back, and it was. I don't remember the whole thing how we did it, but it works. We bounced our signal off the moon.
Wow.
MOON. That spells moon. That's the movie The Stand. All right, you guys can you can go ahead. Why not? It's 11 p.m. there. Oh, you're only 5 hours, aren't you? They're only 5 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right. Australia.
Oh, okay. You're right. No, still late. All right, so you want to get to the first question, Paul?
Yeah, let me see. Is this Mike Johnson? Okay, he said he noticed we're on. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the first question. All right, Paul. When was the Dandy House built?
Well, there's been all kinds of speculation, and there's 2 dates that were what I first heard and what I first researched at the county seat was 1871. But further research by Cassidy O'Connor, and I do respect her and I respect her dates. She's got the Everett brothers as now. I don't know if they built the house in 1853 or possibly earlier than that. But one of the Everetts lived in the house, and his brother lived in the house just south of the Dandy House. Now, where's south of the Dandy House? Mike's Field. The field next to the house. So we've got to really research that and see if there's a foundation there. Because on the map, and I have a copy of the map, I could bring it up here. I think you have to bear with me, guys, because I have, oh my Lord in heaven, I've got, let me share this. I've got about 36, 37 pages open on my computer. How come? There we go. Now this is, let's see, because I have things set up differently here. I'm not doing my own thing. So let me move this. Give me a second. I found this interesting. I think it's the same map that Cassidy had too. I'm pretty sure, anyhow. Let me move it over to the other screen so it'll share easier. Um, Go back to StreamYard. Lordy, lordy. Here we go.
Okay.
Now, as you see right here, this is it. There's two. You see the two dots, and they look equally the same size.
Hmm.
Is that the house? If you come down, which way are we going here? Going down this way. What is happening here? Now that I look at this on the screen, am I looking at it backwards? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think anything's backwards. I can read the names. Looks like in the northwest corner is that a railroad, that dotted line?
Northwest up here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what year is this map, Paul?
Uh, I'm not sure. Let me see. I have some other. I have another thing that was. Let me get rid of this real quick. I don't know if I'm on the same page or not. Oh, that is an 1853 map.
Wow.
So if that is the case, then the house was built in 1853 or prior. Like I say, because one of my brother lived in the house, his brother lived south of that, which means there were two houses on McMahon. Those are the only two houses, if there was, other than the root cellar. Now, this is not me saying it was a root cellar, but we have a video on the Dandy House page of a basement that is diamond shaped. That would you say, Link, diamond shaped or something?
Yeah.
But a woman from Buffalo, New York, explained to me that was the Burlingame Farms root cellar, which was away from the house. And the entrance to that Burlingame farm was not McMahon Road, but it was Wagner Hill. You came in, went up a road a ways, and the house was in the field. Search for a foundation there too. So we're looking at 1853 for when the house was built.
Okay.
Is what I'm going to agree with. Hi, Carol.
All right. How about the second question, Link?
The second question is, what years did the Dandy family live at the property?
They moved in 1970, and they reluctantly moved out in 1975. And the reason I bet you the reason you guys are asking the question about the years is because I was going off one night when we were doing a chat on when we were doing research on a YouTube video that I showed. I think Link, I showed it to him, where a guy was saying that they had lived there for just over a year. And this is what I'm talking about. What happens at the house is screwy. It's bad up there. It can be so, I don't want to say haunted, but that's what it is. But I mean, the house is very troubling and very dangerous. It can be dangerous. As I told Groff a long time ago, you've got to be on your guard. It can be, and he knows, Lynn's been there many times. It's quiet. It's wonderful. It's peaceful. And then all hell breaks loose for no reason. You don't have to antagonize. You don't have to even say, who's here that wants to, talk to us and tell us your name. It just lets you know, hey, by the way, I'm here. So get out. We've heard that too.
Okay.
It's in Hinsdale, New York, Colette.
All right, let's go to our third question then, because a lot of YouTubers will reference this. Did a Native American massacre occur on or near the Dandy House property?
I myself, only because of more than several months of research through the Federalists, through the internet, through all of the skirmishes and massacres that I've found that are documented, I see nothing in that area. I see nothing in Hinsdale area. And the one thing that I've always no, it wasn't Iroquois territory. Uh, in there were 5 nations in the western New York area. The Senecas being the predominant nation, and they were predominantly. I mean, they were here from as early, if not earlier, than 1700s. Um, why is uh, the Oneida, the Onondaga, the Mohawks, and the who am I missing? That were in an alliance.
Oh, there's so many.
Well, there's not so many. That's just
Well,
it. There's not so many. Not in New York State.
oh yeah.
Hang on a minute. I got to figure out where I am, and I don't know where I am. I'm trying to find why no Mohicans here. Where? Excuse me, guys. Trying to find Facebook. I'm trying to find everything. I've got so many pages open, and I'm wondering why somebody's not here.
Well, you had the Mohawk, the Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca.
Those were the 5 nations of Western New York. The predominant Senecas were the predominant nation with more population than any of the others. I'm missing all kinds of pages up here. Also, Salamanca, New York, is the only city in the world that is built entirely on an Indian reservation, which is just 18, 20 miles from here where I'm sitting, which is pretty interesting and pretty darn cool.
Okay. Well, getting to the question, did a massacre occur on or near the property, to your knowledge, based upon your experience, your research?
With everything I researched in the last 2 days, I can't affirm that. There's no way I just can't, with all of the different massacres and skirmishes that I've read on. I don't see it.
Did Clara ever reference anything along those lines?
Not necessarily that they were there. No, not at all.
Yeah, that she heard about or something. Hey, Kelly.
Okay. So that's
just trying to get
inconclusive.
It's inconclusive. Yeah, at the very least, anyhow.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump to the fourth question, Link.
Okay. Number 4. Is there any legal or otherwise evidence that the Dandy House property or surrounding properties in that area are built on any Native American burial site?
I'd have to say the same. Refer to the same answer as the last question, because there's speculation, there's possibilities, but most tribes, regardless of what tribe, they're gonna settle by water. There's no water anywhere near the house. Not significant water for livestock, for crops, for uh, transportation. Nothing like that.
There's a river or something a few miles down the hill towards Hinsdale, though. I can't remember the name of that river, but
Allegheny River, yeah.
Allegheny River.
Why would they? I mean, that's a heck of a hill back in the old days to try and climb. The frontiersmen would go from wherever they had to go to get to California, the wagon trains and everything else. They weren't traveling the same way with the tribes. They were settling and they were staying, unless there was something that moved them on from their locations.
Paul, did you say at one time you spoke with a
Yeah.
local Seneca elder? I don't know if elder is the right term.
Well, yeah, I guess it is.
About
But
that topic.
again, too, even though he said there's no way that they would have settled on that hill, it's just too far from a waterway, from a resource for water. But then again, how do we know that he's absolutely sure too? So, like I say, it's speculation. There's a chance. I mean, they, after all, owned this entire country we live in at one time. They were here long before the Europeans and everybody else.
But if the Seneca knew or suspected that there were burial sites on that property where people are building, don't you think they'd say something or protest or
Possibly.
yeah?
But see, there weren't that many. There weren't that many buildings up there at the time. That house is probably the oldest house up there. Well, it's not really the oldest. Down by on where Warren lives on his road.
Oh,
The one school room house was built in 1879, I do believe, 79 or 77. So there weren't a lot of houses. Okay, you're not coming in on cam. There weren't a lot of houses built. I mean, McMahon Road was, like I say, there was only two houses possibly on that road, with the exception of one at the very corner of Wagner, which is what I still don't know the, the distance between Wagner and the house. I still don't know that. At least a quarter mile, isn't it? Like you drive.
I did a straight shot, and it was about 2 miles a straight shot, and then if you drove around the roads uh, like we do instead of horseback straight, it's about 2.5, 2.25 to 2.5 taking the roads.
I'm out of time on StreamYard, so Jonathan is hosting. I don't have any time on. Is Tina down there somewhere?
Tina? Oh, she is. I'm sorry, Tina. I didn't hear the. Usually, when somebody pops in, I get a
You
boop.
get a boop.
I didn't hear your
Okay.
boop, Tina. You needed a
It's
boop
okay.
louder.
I'm just in and out a lot tonight because I'm helping my son. He just had surgery yesterday, so
All right. Well,
so it's easier for me to mute the mic and walk away than it is to get up and walk away.
What it? Can
All right,
you
let's
put
get to the
Jade's thing up, Jonathan?
Beg your pardon?
Put Jade's statement up.
Jade's statement up. Let's
Hello,
see.
Paul, if anyone's going to talk to you.
Jade. Oh, hi, Jade. Let's see. How about that? That's why we're doing this, Jade. I don't think anybody, apart from Clara, and even, well, Paul has information that maybe Clara doesn't. Clara has information that Paul doesn't, certainly.
Yeah.
But Paul certainly is an excellent resource with regards to dispelling some of the myths about the Dandy House.
Right? Well, it's basically what I'm trying to do is clarify and bring to light what happened to them, where the family is, where who passed away. Because my God, I just watched the video night before last on YouTube, and the guys were saying, Mary, can you come through? Can you join us? No, she's in Oregon with her mom.
Unless she calls you.
And Clara sees these videos and goes nuts.
I don't blame her.
You know,
I don't blame her either.
Crazy.
All right, let's jump to question 5, Paul. And this is another one that people seem to reference when they go to the Dandy House and do investigations. Did anybody drown in the pond at the Dandy House property?
Unless it wasn't announced or anything else, because the pond was built in 1970, just prior to the Dandy family moving in. The Halliday family moved out, not sure, but it was either the latter part of 69 or the early part of 70. There hasn't been any reported drownings in that pond since 1970. Not reported drownings.
Right.
And the pond wasn't there 150 years ago, like I've seen so many times on YouTube. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just how the story goes. If I tell you a story, you tell Lake, and he tells Tina, and Tina tells somebody at school, something's going to be omitted or something's going to be added.
Of course.
Not because it's purposeful, but that's what they remember.
Right.
Unless
right.
you've heard it 10,000 times from Paul, then you remember it like it was yesterday, and you were there.
Okay, so drowning. No,
I'm
no.
going to say absolutely not. There were
That's a
no.
no. I would imagine that from 70 onward, if something like that, a tragedy like that happened, it would have
Right.
been reported.
Oh gosh.
And Dan has had scuba divers in the pond, so I mean, if somebody did drown,
Right.
some remains would be there for him to find.
But
You
who?
know, but
I don't want to say his name, but the one who begins with J. Didn't he say that there was a drowning in the pond?
several.
Okay. All right, Link. Let's go to question 6. We're moving right along here, which is good.
Number 6. Is it true that you and Tim chased what you thought was a trespasser on the property?
Yeah, we were actually out of the car, which we didn't do a lot. But I had the camera, and I thought, let's take pictures. We didn't know we were going to take pictures of. I didn't know how you go around. This was the early days of investigations, and we weren't even there to investigate. We were there to keep the looking goose out of the Dandy family's property.
Right.
We were sitting in the driveway. Here comes a car. Here comes another car. Here comes some people walking across the field. Get out of here. Clara did not know that Tim and I were protecting the property for 5 days. And when she found out, she was madder than hell. But yeah, we saw a guy by the spring house, standing at the spring house on the left side as you're looking out the back door, which is toward the pond. We thought it was Phil, but then Tim said, "Where's his car?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe he's just messing around with us," because he knew we were up there at that time. So when we started walking that way, he started running like hell. So we ran like hell too. I don't know why, but down past the pond, down through the field. When we caught up to him, he was running. We didn't know the area. We didn't know what we were going to trip on, fall into. And it's nighttime, but I had the camera, and I got slammed in the neck like 6 times.
Yes.
But I was holding it, and when we got there, when we caught up to him, he was leaning against a tree, looking to his left, well, to his right. To his left, to his right. and I took a picture. And when I pulled the camera down, he wasn't there no more. I couldn't see him in the viewfinder. I just brought the camera up, click, took it down, and he was gone. Tim was already gone, running back through the field. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Tim ran. I broke the 100-yard dash in 8th grade. I can't run up the stairs today, but I broke the 100-yard dash record in 8th grade. And Tim beat me back to the house. He should have been the one. I was on the track team. So we took the picture.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't show it to Clara right away. We waited a couple of days. Gave it to her. She, oh my God, it and everything else. When Father Al came to the house with Alex Tenders to visit, we gave it to him, to Father, who in turn said it's in better hands with Alex, who in turn sent it to Dr. Osis with the New York Psychical Foundation in New York City. Haven't seen it since. Don't know where it is. Clara thinks she does know, a college.
Oh.
So we're trying to find that. And I didn't say hi to Kelly. Hi, Kelly. I did say hi to Jade. Hi, Jade.
Yeah, that'd be an amazing thing to have. Okay. Question 7. And this is another one, Paul, that YouTubers tend to focus on. Was an exorcism or a house cleansing done at the Dandy House? What's the difference between the two? And can you describe, more importantly, I guess, can you describe what happened during that time?
Well, an exorcism is done on a person, not a house.
Yeah.
But Father Al did use the term exorcism. He did a house cleansing. He still used the word. Exorcism is to bless the house, urge the spirits to get the heck out of here. An exorcism is more involved. It involves a human Many times it takes weeks, months to perform an exorcism to where the demon leaves. I hate using the term demon, guys. I'm sorry. Um, but that's what it refers to. The house cleansing took place on April 13th, 1974. I'm going to say that again. I don't know how many dates I've heard on YouTube. April 13th, 1974. It's probably even easier for me to remember because my birthday was the next day. But it happened in the living room. It took place in the living room. Everybody was, there were 7 people, 7 students there from NYU University. Jan Kahn was doing this for her thesis, paranormal uh, phenomenon. So that's what she was writing her thesis on. The other students came with her to make a documentary, to make a film for Alex Tannis, which is yet to be seen by anybody's eyes except maybe them. We've not seen it. During the exorcism, they were all praying. I was sitting in the doorway of the kitchen, angled 3 chairs in a small doorway, angled in so we could watch. And toward the end, when Father Al was reciting the ritual, he was reciting a simple Roman ritual along with other prayers to cleanse the house. There was a wailing, crying, I won't say screaming or screeching, and I'm going to use the same term I've always used because in my head, in my ears, what I've heard in my life, a cross between the sound of a banshee, which we're not going to ever see, a cat in heat, and a baby crying from the entire house. Like somebody had a speaker in the kitchen, upstairs at the top of the stairs, over by the bathroom, in the living room. It was coming from everywhere. Like it was coming down on the house. And I don't remember who it was exactly who spoke first, but it was quieting down. It was really, it was loud. It was loud. I don't remember who the first person spoke. It wasn't Father Al, it wasn't Alex Tannis, and it wasn't Clara and Phil. It had to be one of the crew members. Neither of the ones next to me said anything. We actually, here's a memory that I haven't actually spoken about, but I grabbed the guy next to me. I was holding on to him. I just thought of that because I looked at him and he's tapping me and I'm going like this, and I grabbed this guy like, what are we hearing? As it was calming, as it was quieting down, somebody else spoke in the living room. It could have been Phil, I'm not sure. But the tech guy who was standing in front of the wall where Beth's room was, which is not there anymore, he said, "Shh, shh, I can still hear it." And he said he heard a voice too, but it wasn't a voice from within the room. It sounded like to him it was intermingled with that wailing sound. One thing that I have to make clear, some people will be mad at me for this, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I was there. The house did not shake. The house didn't shake. I was sitting right there right there. Didn't stand up, didn't move. So if that house vibrated, I'm gonna feel it. The house didn't shake. The streaming banshee, baby crying, cat in heat did happen. Loud as can be. Not overpowering, but too loud to be comfortable. But the house didn't budge. That's
That must have been horrifying to hear that because it
it.
was.
I hear it today, just like I can see the guy in the Polaroid, just like I can see the woman in the window from when I was up there that night. Everything that what are they what are psychologists and psychiatrists? Everybody say doctors. You remember the highs and the lows and the traumas of your life.
Yeah.
These were all traumas. Everything in that house to me is a trauma. It's not a high. It's not a low. It was a trauma. The ones that happened that were bad. I remember a ton of memories about the house, about the family, about things we've talked about. I remember words that Laura would say to me, that Mary would say when they were 8 and 10. But this house, and Tina was there when a couple of them happened with me and with her. There, the house is fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's bad. It can be bad, very bad. But I just want to expel all of the nonsense. I know it's good for stories and stuff, but you don't need a story when it comes to this place. It's got enough.
Yeah.
It's got enough bad baggage. Just being as troubled and haunted as whatever it is that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anybody has any questions about that, or anybody wants to argue the point of anything or discuss the point, I'd like you to do it. Because I am frankly tired of watching YouTube videos lie about the Danny family. And they are lies. Only because they don't do their research. So, mistruths, I will say. Not a lie, because a lie is something blatantly that you tell that you know is the opposite of what you really know is the truth.
Okay. All right. Let's go to our next question.
Number 8. Did anyone commit suicide in the master bedroom that you know of, or did anyone commit suicide in any part of the Dandy property that's backed by any official documentation or otherwise?
Documentation, no. But I can tell you a story that I think this story came from, because I know when the suicide talk began. Let's go back to 1967 or 8, when the Halliday family lived in a house, and Sonny Halliday, who just so happened to be one of my road crew members for my rock band, used to set the equipment up and break it down and load it in the truck and all that stuff. Sonny Halliday was, and I didn't know he lived at the house. He never talked about it when he was a member of my road crew. Never talked about living there. Sonny, when he was young, was showing his sister how cowboys used to try and hang themselves. And he did it in the closet, at the entrance of the closet, in the master bedroom. He tied a belt around his neck and stuck the belt buckle part onto a hook, a nail, as it were. And he couldn't get off, and one of his other siblings pulled him off that. That's the only thing I know. And I told that story to so many different groups, because I always mention that the Halliday family lived at the house. And I talk about their experiences, what they had there. And that was one of their experiences when Sonny did that, and it freaked them out. And I think that just got blown up to be one of those stories that gets tilted out of all kinds of things. It goes from Sonny Halliday showing his sister how the cowboys tried to commit suicide, to somebody actually committing suicide in the house. Again, the J guy talks about that. So documentation wise, history wise, no.
Okay. All right. Question 9. Warren Emerson. That's a name that comes up a lot when people discuss the property. Did Warren Emerson die on the Dandy property?
No. No, he didn't get injured on the Dandy property. He got injured on his own property.
Okay. Well, tell us about Warren Emerson. Who was he? And
he's a boy that's been seen by everybody, including Tina and myself. Well, Tina didn't see him. She was too fucking screwed up because she had a huge bump in the road. She didn't see him. And we don't even know if it was him. We saw what could have been Warren. Many people had seen Warren Emerson in the area. Alfred Cowell, who Tina and I went to and interviewed, he hit a boy on the road. He called the authorities. The authorities came, and they did a whole bunch of searching for a kid. Nothing found. In the paper the next day, this is written in the paper now. There was somebody in the area that shouldn't have been there and ran away. Alfred said, "There's no way in hell who I hit would have run away. I hit him. I didn't hear nothing. There's no damage to my car, but I hit this boy." Alfred has been seen. Someone who fits the description as Alfred has been seen on the property by the family, by the people on the hill, by us. Fits the description. By people driving the road over the years, over the decades. He was injured on his own property on Emerson Road, which is named after the family. He was injured there while doing some buzzsaw work with his father and grandfather. He was rushed to Cuba Hospital, where he died 3 hours later.
And that was what year? In the 40s?
42.
42.
I think it was 42. Wasn't it 42? I think it was 42.
Poor young man.
17 years old.
Yeah.
I know Mr. Cowell said that he'd never drive that road again after that happened.
Yeah, Mr. Cowell never went on. He works here in Portville. He worked here in Portville. And he would not drive from Portville down the road that way. He went the back way from that day on. Because it scared the hell out of him. He jockeyed his car every which way trying to find the kid that he hit with his headlights.
Right.
He swore to God he hit him. He swore. He goes, I know I hit him. I know I did. But he was never found. Even the person that came to Paul's book signing talked about that.
There was an ambulance attendant that was up there that night, that day actually, that came to my book signing because she wanted to hear the story because she knew of Alfred Emerson and Alfred Cowell. Kind of weird. Alfred Cowell hit Alfred Emerson. Go ahead, I'm losing my voice.
So Alfred Warren Emerson but he went by Warren? Okay.
He went by Warren, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to take a little break, or you're good to go? Want to keep going?
Where are we at anyhow?
We're at question 9.
We got 5 left.
Okay. All right, Link, question 10.
All right. This is an easy one. So tell me all about this Alex Tanis. How many times do you recall that he visited the Dandy property, and what was his impressions when he visited the property?
Fall of 73, he was invited by Father Alphonsus to come to the house. Alex was doing a conference lecture on paranormal phenomenon at the university. He came up with Father Al after that. We went to the speech in Clara's car, her station wagon. We got back up to the house before they did. When they arrived, not too much longer after us, maybe 15, 20 minutes, they came in. Alex was a very striking looking man, very dark, deep set eyes. This really brings me right back to that time.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about this. Father came in. Here comes this taller guy. Father's a little quiet man. And Alex walked in and he looked around at everybody with a half smile. Everybody shook hands. I don't remember who shook first. I shook his hand, and right away, 3, 4, 5 seconds, April 14th. And how I would know how to say at 21 years old, what about it? But that's what I said. What about it? He said, oh, that's your birthday. And I looked at Father Al and wanted to say, did you tell him? But he didn't know my birthday. Clara didn't know my birthday. Nobody knew my birthday that was there. Nobody. No need to know my birthday. But he announced my birthday. Is that because he felt right away that even way back when that I was skeptical of anything psychic? paranormal. I wasn't a major believer. I had an open mind, but not even that open. It was just a crack.
Right.
This house is what made me believe that there's something that just doesn't stop going. It doesn't manifest itself. It's got to be our spiritual energy or just something friggin' alien from another planet. I don't know, but there's something that goes on. He was there twice. Once in the fall, he walked through the house by himself. We were in the living room waiting. He walked through the house and he came in. And Phil had a hassock by his chair. He sat down. He looked ragged, but that's probably because he was traveling too. Maybe the house did wear on him. He sat down with his head down for a brief 15, 20 seconds. He said, "You have seven spirits here. I feel seven spirits. I see seven spirits. And one, I'm trying to see how he said it. One just recently passed and has no connection with the other six. One of the McMahon sisters died just prior to him coming. A couple week and a half, something like that. Maybe he was picking up on her. He told Clara, Father Al did a prayer again. Alex said that he would return to try and rid the house of the energies. And he did. He called Clara one day between this time in the fall of 73 and in the spring of 74 when he came back. But he called Clara in between this time to say, "I just flew over your house. Beth's in trouble." I guess Alex he did a lot of out of body experiences.
Yeah, by location or whatever they call it.
Yeah. But anyhow, he was there twice. The second time he came April 13th. First time he found seven spirits. Is what he believed to have seven spirits within the property. In the house, he said. Within the house there are seven spirits. When he came back the second time in April of 74, he said it was one. I've got the transcript for that. It was a girl in Mary's room who refused to leave. Her boyfriend had died, and she didn't want to go on. So was he duped the first time, lied to about how many spirits there were? Or is the girl the strong energy of the house that keeps everybody else away? I used to always think the one that hated me was female, the one I've had trouble with. But now I guess I have to think it's male from what I've experienced when I was up there with Tina and Detroit Rock City Paranormal, when I was screamed at. And everybody heard the tape that it was on with what happened. On their equipment, not mine, nothing of mine. So he was there twice, and those were his readings of the house, 7 and then 1.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to question 11. Paul, did Ed and or Lorraine Warren ever investigate the Dandy House property?
What is this? Is this something in Congress? You're trying to catch me in something here? Trying to get me in trouble.
Mr. Kenyon, let me remind you, you are under oath.
Under oath. I've seen it on CNN. Yes.
They were never there where the Dandy family was. Never. They never came up. And what Clara says, and I wish to God, Clara, honey, I wish you were out here, at least listening or watching, or you would at least get in the chat or something.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Oh,
it
yes.
would. It would be another Bible to the house. She said her opinion. I don't know if it was her opinion or what she knew, but the Warrens wouldn't come because there were no TV cameras there to help them. They were never there during the Dandy family time. If they came up sometime before that or after, well,
Right.
that's fine. But not when Clara lived there. No.
Okay.
Now let me go on defense of Lorraine. When I was there with Nick Groff, Tony Spera, Tim Shaw, and a bunch of other people when we did Paranormal Lockdown, they called Lorraine on the phone and they said, "Do you remember the country house?" She said, "I do," and it was just so bad, so bad. Now Lorraine may have been thinking of another country house besides
Mm.
in Hinsdale, New York. To go to her defense, because this is where the story came from that Ed and Lorraine had gone to the Hinsdale house.
Mm.
Because I don't know if it's duly because of this phone call or if this was cited before, but she was never there when the Dandies lived there. Never. And I don't see any other time that they could have been there. But in her defense, I want to say that she did remember the old country house, which they have been to a couple of different country homes, and this certainly was a country home. No, she was not there. Not when not during Dandy times. She got choked in Mary's room. Well, I'm gonna have. I can't. I'm gonna call Tony tomorrow. I got his personal number. I'm gonna call Tony tomorrow and ask him where his in-laws there.
Okay. All right. Question 12.
Oh, hang on a minute before you read question 12. I'm specifically, and I still want to get to the bottom of this because I do not believe it. I specifically am sticking up for Clara and her family and all the shit that these people are putting her through. And this is her words. She's tired of it. She's tired of the mistruths about what happened when she lived in that home. Warrens were never there when she was there. Hi, Billy. And if they were there any other time, why? There was never any call for them to be there, ever, unless it was in the 1920s when the other priest called Father Allen said he did a house cleansing in 50 years prior, which would be the 20s.
Yes.
Okay.
So why would the Warrens be at this house for any reason that was never purported to be haunted by anybody except one of the McMahon members 50 years prior to Clara? And were they even alive then, the Warrens?
Oh,
Makes no sense to me.
Didn't they begin their paranormal investigations in the late 50s? I don't know a lot about them, but
I honestly can't be sure, but
I seem to recall Ed was in World War II, and then
oh,
they got married, so that would be 40s, so probably the 50s. I don't know. I am not in any way an expert on the Warrens, but as far as you know, when the Dandies lived at the property, the Warrens never visited.
no, absolutely not. I staked my life on it. They
Okay.
never came up there.
Okay.
I just talked to Clara 4 or 5 days ago about this. She said, "Why are they still saying this? Why?"
All right, let's bounce to question 12 then. I think we've exhausted that question.
yeah. And question number 12. In Clara's book, she mentions this camp road that I was very interested in visiting when I had gone. Can you explain where it is and why it's significant? I had to search it out myself when I was there because there's no signs, no
Yeah.
signage or anything. So
So you didn't know where the camp road was. It was the road that you went on. It's just the extension of McMahon that goes up the hill. She called it a camp road because when they lived there, when they moved there weren't any houses up there. There were camps, trailers, things like that. For all the deer hunters from Buffalo and Rochester, New York would come down here to deer hunt. So they called that the camp road. And you learned the hard way that that road is supposedly private, which it's not. It can't be a private road. How does that many people who live on a road that has extensions off of it be a private road?
it goes forward is what I think you're saying. It goes forward. It doesn't turn. The Dandy's road turns to the left when you're on McMahon,
Yeah.
and the camp road goes forward and up a hill. Okay.
Yep. That's all that is. It's just the extension of the. It's not even an extension. It's like you said, the Dandy House goes to the left, which is on McMahon Road.
Yeah, it's like
got
a
a big ass driveway.
Not a Y, but it's bizarre that it's the McMahon Road forward and McMahon Road to the left. I never saw that before. Where
Well, it's on McMahon Road, but it's got a really long driveway.
Oh, yeah.
Still doesn't make any sense.
Thank you.
Okay. Question 13, Paul. We're coming around the corner here. 55 minutes. What is the legend and significance of the gifting tree? That's a part of the property that a lot of people go to, and they believe it has significance. What is the gifting tree all about, Paul?
Gosh, I wish Dan were here. Maybe somebody in the chat can. I don't want to say something that's not completely accurate, but that is a tree that is designated to offer gifts to the Native Americans and to the I think also to the spirits there as well. I know if I ever run out of cigarettes, I'll just go up there and borrow one and then bring one back later. Because I've seen cigarette packs on the ground. I've seen packs of tobacco on the ground.
Cigars I've seen up there.
But I think I would prefer someone who really knows the truth behind that. I mean, that's what I believe it to be, but it is for the Native Americans that are believed to be on the property or buried on the property or were killed on the property or left in the UFO on the property or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've left gifts.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Joe right there explains what the tree is.
Oh.
So Billy Joe writes, a lady from another team. Well, you could read that yourself.
The idea of leaving things.
So it's not something that is historical to the property. It's a memorial,
right?
Yeah,
type of thing.
Probably.
Okay.
Amy Brock, they said. Amy Brock started the tree, which is it's a nice touch. When you guys go, whenever time this is going to be, if you're still interested in the Dandy House, you can walk around and find my ashes scattered on some of the ground up there. Because I mean, if that's the only way that I can stay connected to something that meant a lot to me when I was young, I told Angel, scatter some of my ashes up here and I'll haunt your ass until you can't leave. I don't know. I saw that question earlier, Kelly. I was told 10 to 12 feet at its deepest point, but I know about 12 feet out, 14 feet out, it's only chest high on some people. Because I saw a couple of pictures and I don't remember who those pictures were from. 23 feet? Why in the hell would KG Reese build a pond that deep?
I don't think it has to be that deep to retain the fish over the winter, I think. But
no.
Wow.
Okay.
Because I saw somebody standing very near the middle and it was just above their chest and they were about a 5'10" person. So I don't know.
Was that the one? Did they have waders on?
No, I couldn't tell in the picture. I can find the picture. I probably can't find it right now. I found it on Facebook. It was in one of the people's from the 2012 event that took a picture of their friend in the pond. They were almost not quite center. Maybe a third of the way out. It was only up to their chest. I'm assuming they were standing up unless they took a picture just as they came out of the water. I don't know. But it looks like they're standing up because their arms are straight down.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to our last question. Then we can maybe go back and chat and look at the other questions that were posted. But last question that we have for this evening, and maybe we'll do this again with a new set of questions. Tell us about the graves. Oh, this is yours, Link. Why don't you read it?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Tell us about the graves that have been located on the property, when and how they were discovered, and didn't Clara's dog find large bones or some strange kind of bones on the property?
So Lassie dug up some bones on or what I call the dike,
Mm-hmm.
on the outside bank of that dike where they build up, around the pond. Um, Brought them in. Clara really didn't think much of them. She didn't know what they were, what kind of bones they were. They were fairly big. I mean, like they could have been. They could have been a human bone, and very possible. Um, Dan had this done with ground penetrating radar. And the last time the gentleman was there, I was lucky enough to be there too. And he was doing some more in another area. And he found three anomalies that looked quite curious. Uh, there's a story that goes back to the Halliday family too, where their dad used to tell them, and why would he tell this story just to scare the kids? He wasn't that kind of a man. I knew their dad. He was no,
Hmm.
he wasn't a storyteller. But he said there was a family that a gentleman named Johnny who killed his kids to keep them from starving to death. This was many, many years before the 60s. He killed his kids because he didn't want them to starve. Uh, in the wintertime, that road's not maintained now, uh, depending on how bad the weather is, how bad the snow is. But can you imagine in the teens or the early 1900s or late
Oh,
1800s? There's no way of getting up that road. And then even then, did buggies actually come up that road, or did they come around the back way, which would be Haskell Road on that way? Because climbing that hill with a bunch of horses would be awful hard, unless there were different routes that came up through there. But just the same, that one section, when you just before you get to, well, even before that dog grooming area
mm-hmm.
built, down below that there's a couple of really steep areas, and then just as you pass the dog where you take that sharp turn to the left, that's steep, and it would be hard to, for horses to pull up that. But I don't know, I'm not really sure. But Dan had all that done. I wish Dan said he would be a guest host or a guest on here some night, and I would really honor that he would come on to the show and talk to us about what more he's discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that certainly adds a fascinating dimension to the property if there are graves there, and he would know, or he would
I
have
would
that
really like.
information.
I'd
Mm-hmm.
love to know if I would love to see. I don't want to say dug up, but
I know.
I, gosh, I would like to know how old they are. I mean, you can't even tell by ground penetrating radar because if they were pine boxes, anybody was buried in, they're disintegrated. Those boxes aren't boxes anymore. Hardwood would last longer. If no boxes were used, well, it's going to look like hopefully it would look like a skeleton, the different limbs and such. I know I watched ground penetrating radar done in German, uh, where they buried dozens of soldiers from Germany, and it was very fascinating to watch that.
Wow.
You're seeking Dan class in September, going to ask him loads of questions. Oh,
Oh,
you're
Here's
seeing.
a here's a question from Nancy a little while back.
Nancy.
Do you have any pictures of the? No, I don't. Only one. Um, I've got one. Let me find it. I asked Clara if she could. Okay, where am I? I asked Clara if she could get me some pictures, And I called her twice and I haven't heard back from her, and I'm getting worried again. But sometimes she just isn't feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find a picture for you here. Just before they moved in, just before. Matter of fact, I think it was only a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Oh, it's going to be a couple thousand pictures back. I know.
And if you have questions in chat, we'll just go through and we'll bring them up. So bear with us.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to make anybody unhappy. I just basically want to clear up any of the misinformation about the dandies. And somebody had told me when I was giving a tour at the house, let me think of what question it was they asked. Um, they said that goes against, what we've already been told. And I was thinking, but what you were told was a lie or untrue or totally wrong. And it was that Laura committed suicide in the house. God, I get so mad at this family. Was like my family back then. I thought of them as family. I thought of the kids as siblings. I thought as Clara as a sister or whatever, and I thought of Phil as a total pain in the ass. This picture here. Every time I see present, I'm thinking I'm getting a present. Jeez.
Christmas is a while away, Paul.
Yeah, it is.
There you
But
go.
your birthday's coming up.
This is the house, and actually, that's Clara's car. So you know what? They're already there.
And
Wow.
those aren't ghosts in the picture. The picture was stuck up against something else and it
No,
pulled
this one
apart.
right here. If you can see my mouse, this one right here is the dizzy bitch that dances around the pond.
Let's not
This
start
little,
that.
this little fat chubby guy down here
Oh my
is
God.
I don't know who. I don't know what this. I'm going to have this picture restored.
Yes.
It's a beautiful picture.
Oh God.
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh my
Jade,
God.
Jade, thank you, Jade. I'm reading them as they pop up over here. Thank you. But didn't the house look nice?
Yes, I like that extension on the back to keep the cold.
Yeah, the extension, and then Phil he enclosed this to make a mud room right here.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, there was a mud room. I'm sorry, I can't make this bigger. I thought I could.
It's so important to have those enclosures in front of the doors so that when you open the door, you're not getting a direct outside,
But do you see what I was telling you guys about when Tim and I would come around and park? We'd park all the way over here. We'd park almost even with the door. Now, the driveway stops right here. Dan's got that big building here, and the driveway ends here. It's all paved. But
Mm-hmm.
even before the driveway, this was where the parking was. There was no parking over here, but we could park all the way up to the back door. And if you notice, that's the original door that's still there today with the 3 windows in it.
Yes.
So I've got to look at that door the next time I'm there and see if the dog's dig marks are still on that door. And I'll bet you that I'm sure they are.
The scratch.
Clara asked me to check on that.
And I'm sorry if you already mentioned that, but in that picture, the reason why there's all that tan land is because the people who own the mineral rights to the property had graded the property. Is that true? Or was that wasn't dead grass? That was dirt.
Yeah, what I understand. And if anybody who's been there recently, there's a big, huge pile of dirt right here. And that's just from grading and grading and grading and grading and all the dirt, the loose dirt. Where are they going to put it? It's all piled up. Plus, it was used for dumping right there at one time, too. But you can see this in here. This is all overgrown. There's trees out here now. There's shrub out there. We ran through that stuff. Tim and I ran from this. Here's the spring house in the corner. We ran from here all the way across that to up by this, well, over by that pole in this general area width of the house, all the way up to Wagner Hill, where the guy leaned up against a tree and was gone. But according to that map, if this is the house, this is south, there would be a house over in that direction over here, over to my left, your left, as you're looking down the road. So I don't know.
You know, there is a good thing, and it's very good. In the past, I think it was 3 years ago, maybe there was the QR codes that I put on the doorways where the information pertinent to the rooms are to help dispel and keep the story, straight, as much as humans can. I know when I die, they're going to say some real nasty things, they already do. But I'm talking, after, a person's gone, things change. Either they're more wonderful than they were, or they're worse than they were. The stories change. And I think those QR codes are so important. So that is a good thing that those exist.
All right. Here's another call out. I'd ask this question. I don't know if we got to that.
Where we at?
Call out asked, is the Dandy House haunted, or is it just residual energies playing over what people used to do when they lived there? Stone tape theory.
Gosh. Well, you know what? You just jumped out of my league. What the hell is stone tape theory? I'm serious. I really don't understand the entire term. Is it haunted, or residual energies playing over what people used to do? Well, if it's residual energies, there's one guy there. I can't stand me. Wants me nowhere on that property. And it's not something in my head. He's proven it quite drastically a couple of times. Real drastically. I'm gonna do something that you guys don't know I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do it later, not now.
Okay. Well, this came from Elphaba. I've heard some teams on YouTube state that the info they were sharing was told to them by their god from the house. I think that plays a large part in the misinformation that is being repeated.
Sharing, I heard you, but YouTube state that the info they were sharing was told to them by their guide from the house. I think that plays a large part. Okay. The guide. I don't know who. I don't know. And again, it's not something that is purposely put out there, because Dan is the most greatest guy, and when it comes to this house, he wants nothing more than the truth, and nothing less than the truth. I wish Michelle Ball was out here, because I told her a million times, don't say that no more. It's not true. And she used to open for people all the time. And it doesn't matter what's happening today. That's not my concern. My concern, to my very dear friend who I love very much, Clara Miller, I want her story right. I don't want any more mistruth. I don't want to hear that Mike died on the property, that Laura committed suicide on the property, that Clara was a quack. Because if she was a quack, I'm a quack. And I'm the biggest skeptic on the face of the earth about paranormal anything. But when it comes to this house, I have to say one thing. You better be on your guard, because if you get knocked on your ass like I did one time, you're not going to go back there. If you have any common sense, you won't go back there.
That's
okay.
true.
I really think, and this is my opinion, that maybe you should talk to Dan and maybe have, when people come in for the first time, have something played so they can hear the true story before they ever start investigating that house. They
Well, the
hear the
true story
facts.
about the true story. Hi, Jackie. I don't know, honey. I don't know what scared me, but I knew, and I know I'm not. I'm not psychic. At least I don't think I am. I knew that if I stayed, I'm sorry, Tina. I knew if I stayed, I would be in a world of hurt. I don't. You don't know all of my stories, Jackie. You don't know my experiences up there. Most of my experiences are wonderful. They're calm. They're quiet. I don't have a problem. I don't have any energies interacting with me. I don't hear anything. I'll say 90% of the time. But when it comes out, it only comes out because I am there. The bad ones come out. I don't get the good guys. Tina gets the good guys. I get the bad guys. I get the ones that hate me.
They're my friends.
Yeah, they're her friends. Everybody in that house loves Tina. Every energy in that house will turn on lights and turn off everything if she asks him to. I say turn on a light and get cold cocked and bleed. And everybody sees it happen, which is great. That way,
That's entertainment.
I think what Tina's saying is right, but I don't want to ever. Okay, I'm gonna go. Please,
Well, and
everybody.
I hate to say this, Paul, and forgive me for saying this, but one day you're going to be gone and that house is still going to be there. So why not get the information right and let people hear it correctly?
Yeah, because I watched a couple of openings of the house, and I watched different people telling the groups what happened, and if I want to pull my hair out, but I can't get a hold of it. If I could, I would literally pull my hair out because they're telling shit about the family that ain't true.
And I would love to see Clara and you do it together, even if it's a Facebook one that you can record and play there. That way they're hearing Clara's story.
Well, I've been begging her to come on with me. She doesn't have to be visual, just like you're not right now. You don't have your camera on.
No.
And I said, Clara, just come on with me. Let the people ask questions, whatever you have to do, and to get your story straight. She said, you just tell it the way you know it, and you're the only one who does know it, and that's true. When it comes to the family, when it comes to their experiences, when it comes to what they went through, the harrowing, horrible times and the good times, I am the expert. Nobody else. Nobody.
And
Well,
I
hope
really, I think it would be really cool because if you get Claire on there, she's one of the nicest people. If anybody hasn't met her, probably most of you haven't met her. I was able to have the ability to see her twice with Paul, and
I
she's
did,
one of
Kelly.
the nicest people I've ever met.
Oh God, she is just.
And so for her story not to be told correctly is almost like a slap in the face, and I don't like
It
that.
is to her. It
Yeah,
is,
well, it
Tina.
is to me too because it makes me mad. It actually draws me away from there with a lot of people being up there. I'm like, I don't even want to be up there when that happens because I just want to speak up and say something, but so I don't disrespect Dan and what he's doing because I really applaud him for doing what he
Oh,
does.
I do too. Like you
Um,
wouldn't believe.
because if it wasn't for him, that house would have been taken down after I was up there that one time.
You know what? I think I would have. KG offered it to me before Dan went up there, and you know that. He offered it to me for no money down, no nothing. Just give me this much a month, and the house is yours. Because he knew that I wasn't happy with the way the house was being run by the team that was there at the time. And KG said, "If you want the house, it's yours." I said, "I want nothing to do with it." I a little bit, only a small part of me wishes I said yes, but mostly I would not want this burden because I would have died long before I'm alive or today.
Before your life.
I would not have lived this long if I was at that house all the time. It would have killed me. Father Al said it, Alex Tanner said it, and Clara said it.
Well, long may it be in the future, Paul, but maybe someday this will be in the Paul Kenyon archives. Just to go back to chat, and if anybody has any questions in chat, we're kind of bouncing around here, but Billy Joe said he just asked Dan, the pond is 25 feet deep for reference, and Cindy Wright Kramer asks, is the pond where people see the lady in white, Paul?
Yes, that's where people have seen a dancing lady. Phil said he didn't see her, but he said that's where the girls and others have seen the dizzy bee. I remember the first time that Phil took me on a tour of the house, which was August 17th, 1973. He walked me around the house and told me about what's been going on here. And he said there's a reasonable GD explanation for everything because I don't believe in any of this crap. He took me out back and we walked around. We walked to the back side of the pond. You couldn't walk around the entire pond at that time. When we were walking back to the house, and I was hanging onto his shirt, by the way, everybody. I was hanging onto his shirt tail behind him as he's walking. First, I couldn't see. He had the flashlight. And I said, is this where you see the woman dancing around the pond? I think in my book, I actually said, is this where you see the dizzy bitch? He spun around on me and put that flashlight right in my face, right in my eyes, and said, I didn't ask to see the goddamn woman. But then he told me he never actually saw her. Well, he told me later on it wasn't that night. But he told me that about the woman, and then there were other people who didn't know about that at the time, and had mentioned seeing a woman in white dancing around the pond. So they weren't reiterating the story that Clara already told because they hadn't read her book. Because I asked them about that, they said, "Well, we didn't even know she had a book out. We just heard about the house being haunted."
Okay. Kelly asked a question. Have you been to Promised Land Road, Illusion Hill?
Yeah, I just up there not too long ago with. It's neat. There's a video on my Facebook or YouTube of it. 99% of the people don't even know where the damn illusion is. They think it's way at the top of the hill. It's nowhere near the top of the hill.
What connection?
Not even close to the top of the hill.
Is it connected with the Dandy House property?
Oh no.
Oh.
It's you can park on an incline like this, going up, put it in neutral, and you go up the hill.
Yes, I had the pleasure.
Oh, that's right. You went with me.
I had the pleasure.
I forgot. I took Link up there. I took Link up there.
We'll have to do a video next time.
Velma Wilson, she lived up Burnt Hill.
Oh, huh? Velma Wilson? Holy cow.
Well, I said she lived up on Burnt Hill.
Yeah.
All right, I'm scrolling through the comments. I don't see any other questions or comments.
There was
she lived in the house.
There was one.
Somebody.
Yeah, I hear Mary in the background. Oh, Jackie has said about
what time?
Mary, shush.
About this one?
Oh yeah, because Jackie, I heard a video where you're. Oh God. I remember a video. A guy had long hair. There was a girl with him, and then later on, another girl was in the video too. While the first girl disappeared, but they were talking about the old couple, Flo and Joe, who lived here, and Flo was pushed down the stairs after hearing somebody say, "Get out of my house." Your grandmother was never pushed down the stairs, Jackie, and I know that. That's what I'm talking about. Just, add to the dilemma. Add to all the stuff. Wait, I'm seeing Hey Dan. Why am I seeing Hey Dan? Where is Dan? Is he here?
Paul, I want to interrupt for a minute and get back to the dancing, prowling ladies that hang out. In Clara's book, I think more than one occasion, I thought it was in Clara's book. It might be in yours, where they discuss uh, being in campers up the road. They used to borrow water from the Dandies because they were the first ones, I think, with a well, and they used to come over there. Well, anyway, they they claim that. Well, Clara claims that the people that lived up on the hill, some of them had said that they saw these women or ladies in gauze dresses.
Yeah, walking around. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So, in other words, it wasn't just around the where the new pond was at the time that was built.
No,
Right. Okay.
Harry, the first property on the right as you're going up the hill. Harry lives in that, and he said that they had seen people walking through his yard. He knew they weren't anybody because they were just. He'd go out to look for them, and they're nowhere around. They weren't trying to run away or nothing. Harry came down and told us that story a couple of times. Oh God, no, Cindy. A lot of people had car trouble. I think everybody. Link's had car trouble. Tina's had car trouble. And then you get away from the house and everything runs just fine.
Well, what happened with you in your car the first time?
Me?
You.
That was the first night when it just stopped.
Oh.
Debbie and I had gone up to see Clara because it was in the paper, and I called her, and there was a bunch of ruckus in the background. I said, "What's all everybody talking about? Or what's all the noise?" She said, "Well, it just so happens what you're telling me about the story in the paper. I work with the mom." I said, "Well, guess what?" Then I told her about the firemen coming in, putting the fire out next door, and I need a good laugh right now because I'd only been in business 3 months. And we went up to the house. I said, "Ask if we can go to the house." So we went up. That's the night that Phil walked me around in the dizzy bitch and all that stuff. And and as we were leaving, we got just before the hanging tree. Maybe I don't know, maybe 30 feet, maybe 30 feet before we got even with the hanging tree. The car died. Just lights went out, engine stopped, nothing. And I thought, well, what the hell is all this about? I put it in park. I turned the key. It did nothing. Didn't click. Didn't make a sound. Like even with a dead battery, tick, 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 nothing. So Debbie next to me started freaking out. Dan's here, thank God. Debbie was freaking out, and I'm looking at the Linderman house, which is across the way, across the Wagon Hill train.
Yeehaw!
Wagner Hill. And I was thinking about walking up there. I didn't say it to her. And then I thought to myself, I'm not getting out of this car after hearing all the stories we had just heard and about cars breaking down. So, and then Debbie said, oh my God, there's somebody standing in the tree. And I'm thinking, stop it. Don't you lose it on me now. And then we got that glint. We got a glint on the dashboard. Scared the shit out of both of us. Just a light coming in. And you got to know, if you've ever been to the house, there's no light up there. There's no street lights. If you don't have a moon, you're not going to see 20 feet in front of you. And we got this glint on the dashboard, and then it went away, which made it all the more frightening. Then it came on again, and I looked in the mirror, and I realized it was a car coming down the hill. Car pulled up behind us, and as they opened the door, I saw it was Father Al. First time I ever met him was at the house that night. When I saw him, I opened my door. I jumped out, and before he got to, well, we met about halfway between his front end and my rear of the car, and I gave him a big hug. I felt saved. He said, "Oh, what do you have? Are you having car trouble? Let me, if I can help. Let's see." I said, "I don't know, Father. It just died. No lights, no clicking battery, no nothing." I got back in the car. I turned the key, and it started right up. We sat there 50, 18, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, I'd say. And I kept trying the key, nothing. I kept moving it from park, nothing. Father Al shows up, the car starts right up. I took the car to Joe. It's a new car too. It wasn't very old. I took the car to Joe Zemer's garage on the corner of First and Wayne Street in Olean. Joe checked the entire car out and said, "There's nothing electrical wrong. Nothing wrong with your battery or alternator. Everything is fine." That's because Father Al fixed it. Actually, the energy took it away. I swear to God, that's the first thing I thought. Is it really possible that a priest could interfere with something like this? But I think he did.
Hmm.
What's a glint? Is that like a taint? What's a taint? Isn't that when something are tainted? I keep lighting these; they go out immediately.
Oh,
It was a gem. Yeah, I think you said glint when you were talking about his lights that had come over the hill and then they disappeared and then they came back.
And I'm trying to, it happened twice. There was, like I say, there was a glint on the glint. There was a taint on the dashboard, and it disappeared, and then it came back and stayed there. And I'm trying to think, I know I can close my eyes and go up that hill and tell you when the first rise is going to happen, when you come to the next one. And I'm trying to think of how. Oh, I guess it could. When you first turn the corner at the top of the hill to go down, you're at the very top of McMahon, and your headlights would shine down. When you're going down, they would disappear and come back when you go up that little knoll. That's why. So, see, I just answered my own question.
And at the time, there was a barn that should have been right next to you.
Barn was right next to us.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Nancy said,
"Oh my God,
my mom and aunt watched two ladies walking down the camp road."
No wonder Paul knows that word. So
I didn't know it. He did. I didn't know it. I said,
well, you were using it, so I just assumed you knew.
Yeah, I said, isn't taint? Isn't that when something goes sour? Dan's talking the perineum over here.
But yes, at the time there was allegedly, not allegedly, a barn, right, where you guys, got stuck.
The only perineum I have is the ones that come up the flowers. My mom and aunt watched two ladies walking down Camp Road. They were wearing old-fashioned dresses.
Yeah, I read that. It doesn't surprise me.
And Clara said that Mike and his friends chased somebody wearing farmer overall types of clothes, and like your guy in the scrub just disappeared when they got close.
Yeah, only one, Charlie, really, and that's the Andover house in Andover, New York. Oh no, that's not true. I went to the Host of God. I said that last time when somebody asked me that. The Host of God restaurant up on Rock City Road in Olean. Because I don't go out and take my meters and my K2s and everything and look for haunted locations. I am very confused as to what Alex Tanis had said to me on April 14th during the documentary filming, and when he said in the house too, after the exorcism, that the house wants answers from me, and I never asked him. I never let my brain say, "Geez, what the hell are you talking about?" I mean, how can I answer the house's questions? I don't know nothing about nothing except what the Dandies went through. I don't know anything. I researched until I read every word in the English language 100 times, and I can't find anything to corroborate a lot of the stuff that is whatever.
Well, now there's another story here. What's the other house Dan owns that's local? I want to hear this.
Oh, that's a bordello.
Oh, that
don't
comment?
I
Okay.
didn't think Dan owned a second house. That's what I'm talking about, Dan.
Well-
Rumors.
Or did he at one time?
No, he never owned another house that was haunted. I can tell you that. Ask me, and I'll tell you.
Oh, well, here. I'm going to
Now
give a
that's
shout out here.
that's one
You can
thing.
read that, but you got
Dead
that
people are my kind of people.
yes, I got that from Dan.
And you're
Well,
the idiot
I bought
that put it in a washer with bleach in it.
Yes, and I do apologize. It's kind of ugly looking, but that's me. So
I want to go to Wildwood. I've never been there. I've been to the Wildwood Bar. My band used to play there.
well,
Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions, comments. Do you want to wrap this up for the evening?
Mr. Kenyon.
I guess we can. It's been an hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah. But it's been a really good discussion, I think.
I just want to, I'm sorry.
Go on.
I want to say one thing to Dan. And I, if you weren't here the whole time, go back through and watch it, please, if you have the time to do so. Because there are what I'm concerned with talking to Clara every week and her getting snoopy enough to watch YouTube videos is her story being told correctly, accurately, that Mike didn't die in a house, that Laura didn't commit suicide in the house, that Lorraine and Warren, that Lorraine and Ed investigated the house when they lived there. They did not. Eventually, it'll all come out right. Probably not in my lifetime. But I know what Dan did, what Nick did is going to be probably very, very insanely good. Yeah, she keeps asking me every time I call her, like she'd forgotten. I say, "What, did you forget already?" She keeps asking me, "When am I going to see it?" I keep telling all my friends, and they keep calling me and saying, "When's it going to be on? When's it going to be on?"
Amy Brock was the one that created the Giving Tree.
Amy Brock was okay.
That's only a month away, Dan.
Well, that's a question for Dan, I imagine.
Yeah.
A 2-part series. We're finishing. It's up to be delivered in March.
Gosh, I can't wait.
And that's on what channel?
Yes. Can you advertise or?
It's going to be on.
I think Jade said something about that too. Discovery Plus.
Yeah, it's also on. Oh, Jesus, God, man, what is wrong with me? Oh, Amy Perry. Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, Lord. I have the channel on my Roku, and I can't think of the damn name of it. Sorry, I can't remember the name of. No more than likely everything Deathwalkers. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the freebie one on Roku, Dan?
No.
What the heck is the name of that channel?
It says it's on Discovery Plus.
You got to pay for that.
Oh.
Let's see.
Yes, if anybody knows the channels,
Okay, not even listing it. They don't even list it on FilmRise.
FilmRise.
Okay.
I think somebody just typed it. Yeah, Nancy just typed it.
So you have to have it delivered by March. So they would show it when?
Wow.
I guess that's up to the
I'm so excited.
channel.
Hey, Dan, who played me? You said it was a black guy.
Filmarize, Amazon, Apple.
Yeah, there's a lot of places I know that. Dan will answer the question I asked you. Watch, because we have two of the actors regarding the Hinsdale house that come into the chat every time we're here. She played Clara, if you know who I mean. And she doesn't remember who played me. You said it was a black guy. Probably Satchmo, knowing you.
Thinking Denzel Washington, but
Denzel Washington, Louis Armstrong. I don't know. Probably Willis. What you talking about? His name wasn't Willis. He always used to say, "What you talking about, Willis?" What was his name? Gary. What's his name?
I don't know.
So,
I can't believe that guy went on to be a security guard. How can that be? How could you be an actor 1 minute and a security guard the next minute, and
Yes.
getting in trouble with the law all the time?
yeah.
Arnold, yeah, Arnold.
There you go.
Hi, Pam. Gary Coleman. Thanks, Billy. Sidney Poitier would make a good Paul. What?
Sidney Poitier. Well, Sidney
somebody-
Poitier is also no longer with us, so they'd have to do an
Somebody's
AI
really
thing.
brown
I think
this.
Alfred Hitchcock would make a good one of me. I mean, not Alfred Hitchcock, Boris Karloff.
God. Not soon enough, Dan. Not soon
With or
enough.
without the beard? That's the question.
When do you want to come on? Next week? Saturday?
Couple
What's
weeks.
Wait, Randy Carr may be on next
Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah, he hasn't answered me yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe next week. I mean, or the week after. Yeah, if Dan's available.
Yeah, I know Dan is always busy, and I want him to pick a time, and I'll set it.
Right. Yeah, that would probably work out best.
We could even have a Friday show, Friday or Saturday, Dan, whatever's best for you. Like hell, you can be the backup. You're the star perineum. Remember Testicle Tuesday?
Oh,
I made a
good
picture
Lord.
just for your show that night.
I wish I knew what that was. I do like the background of that. What you did to your to your area there, your room. I like that, Paul.
God.
This
Almost Brady Bunch.
Right. I know. I am so jealous that
I have another screen I want to share. This is a. I'm just going to tell everybody. I don't know. Should I do that?
Save it for another night. I think I know what you're going to say.
No, not say. I'm going to show, but it's a prelim, so it's okay because people have been asking me an email forever. So let's share this. Which one is it? Yeah, let's share this. Where the hell is it? Let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah. This is book one, and it's a prelim because my publisher wanted more money to put it on Kindle, and I've had I'll be conservative and say 350 requests for my book being on Kindle in the past year and a half or so, which isn't a lot. It's not really a lot, but I had a lot more before that. So this is going to be book two. No, not the second book now. This is a prelim to book two. I'm reissuing You Know They're Here. It's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper, and it's going to be on Kindle as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I may edit it and add some pictures. I'm going to put Dan Klass's Perineum right in the middle of the book.
Perineum.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
Miss Woodworth.
Isn't Stephanie playing Clara in that two-part
Yeah,
series?
Stephanie, aren't you playing Clara?
I thought she said yes.
Let's see if my memory's
I think
faulty.
you're right. Connect the words. And I asked you who was playing me, and you said you didn't know. And Dan still hasn't answered.
It's a secret.
Maybe I'm not in it. Maybe he didn't like what I had to say. He knows I say my mind.
Well,
but I almost cried again with Mr. Groff. The prick.
on his shoulders, or
You know, there's been 2 times that they got me weepy eyed. Once with Haunt Me, and once with Nick Groff with Paranormal Lockdown. I had to take my time talking to Nick and Katrina when I was talking about back then.
mm-hmm.
Same thing with Haunt Me when I had to talk about Father Al.
Pam says a Chinese person's playing you, Paul.
Satoshi's brother? If Satoshi's brother's in it, I hope they cast her for some part.
Very inscrutable.
I've been waiting all night here to see Clara Miller's name come up on the chat. I'm going to call her when we're done.
Yeah.
Call her and then we'll...
Yeah.
If she doesn't answer, I'm leaving a nasty message.
Oh, my. So, did you want to finish what you, your story about your tears?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the clincher line.
You missed what?
Oh, with Al. Yeah, okay. And then
Yeah.
you stopped. Right. Yes. Understandable. Good man.
It's not often that I get emotional talking about Father Al or whatever, but sometimes I do if I'm talking to you guys or Tina, it's not it's not that way, but when I'm at the house and I'm reliving that time with the family and everything, it just all comes back.
So
I think it's all a ruse. I think Paul's playing the part of Paul. He's just keeping it to himself.
right. And
he has that wig with the long hair.
Yes, and after he played that part, he started growing this beard. So that
to throw us off, Link. To throw us off.
Yes, he needs.
You can't tell that I trimmed it today, but I did.
Yeah, it'll be trimmed in June when you wake up.
No, it won't. This beard stays on my face to the day I die. And I will not
do it and blame it on a ghost.
And I'm not going to cut it at all.
I know.
I'm just going to shape it. I'm going to shape it a little bit, but I want a ZZ Top beard before I die.
Well, those flying monkeys are going to get stuck in there, so I'd be careful if I were you.
You know, what's this? Hey, guys, I saw next week's Project Fear. Next episode is at the Hinsdale house. Project Fear. No idea.
I'm not familiar with that one.
I don't know who they are. Dan, why are you not answering me? Send me a message if you have to. Did he?
He's not obligated to.
Right. TV series.
I got 40 pages open on my computer. Everything from Native American, every skirmish and every war and every massacre ever recorded. Boy, it's a list too, let me tell you. Holy cow. All the way from the Potomac to...
Oh, yeah, there were troubles, that's for sure.
And they had several looks at the Tuscarora War, which was, oh my God. Hey, was there any on my birthday? I just saw my brother's birthday, November 8th. Oh, Big Bug. The Big Bug Massacre. They killed a bunch of bugs, I guess.
Wasn't there a beaver war up that way too?
I think you're right, because I think I read about that earlier today.
That was way back.
I read about the Beaver War, and I was talking to him when I was reading about it. Well, when I first mentioned it and passed it by.
You told me you're talking to me about a beaver war?
No, wait.
Oh.
1634 through 1684. 38 through 84. The Iroquois and Beaver Wars.
Oh,
It's a big commodity.
That's when the Native Americans were killing all the beavers.
Had to make those hats.
Okay, let me use my insights in my sneaky way of hacking through StreamYard. Who's actually on here, that because you can't see him, but I can with my hacking methods. I don't even see Dan in here anymore.
Yeah. Well, he's very busy.
Oh, I like my beer. You like my beer? This is the only kind of beer I drink. That's it. You'll never see alcohol in my hand. But I know what you're saying.
Oh.
That's a lie, Paul.
You and I,
Paul.
Huh?
I've seen alcohol in your hands, rubbing. Or,
well, yeah, but I'm saying
sanitizer.
now, yeah. First time I ever had a Jello shot was at your house.
I'm talking about your hand sanitizer stuff that you put all over everything.
Oh, that's true. When I go to the hospital, I stick it in my nose. I wipe it on my entire face, on my arms, my hand. I don't want to be around them damn sick people.
Hey, Paul, important safety tip. Don't drink the hand sanitizer, okay?
Right.
Stop.
No,
he puts it in his mouth, too.
I put it up. No, I never put it in my mouth. You
did too. You licked your hand the one time.
I put it on my lips. I put it everywhere.
That explains a lot.
But I put enough on me to make me drunk anyhow. I'll put it on 12 times at the hospital.
Who needs aftershave, right?
Yeah.
You should have seen him during swine flu. That was funny.
Oh, Jesus. You know that little push and it squirts out? I think I emptied 2 of those things.
Oh.
But wouldn't put a mask on.
Yeah. Everybody during swine flu, when they said Angel had swine flu, and I still don't think they were correct, the whole hospital was just loaded with people. And we didn't even wear a mask. And we didn't get sick.
All right, folks. We are folks. We are approaching 2 hours, so I think we're going to end the stream now. But hopefully we'll do this again and whenever.
I want to see one thing while you're saying all that. No, Paul, tea doesn't make anything. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for coming.
The only thing I'd like to say is I do believe that a lot of people don't have notifications or something on to get the notification on the page, because if I invite 2,000 people and who are followers and like the page, and they're telling me they're not getting a notification, so I'm going to research that and find out if it's them making a mistake or if I've made a mistake on the page somewhere.
All right.
So night, everybody.
Look for those notifications, everybody. But in general, Paul, Saturdays, 6 o'clock.
Saturday, 6 o'clock. And if Dan wants to be on next week, I'm going to check with Randy, see if he can come on. If he can't, then if Dan can, that would be good. But I want to get the notification out, no later than Tuesday.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Good night, all.
Thanks, everybody.